Hey y'all. Okay, I have cooked a chuck roast tonight. You know, I love to get them whenever they're on sale, and I had it, so I thought, well, I want to do something different than just the usual beef stew or like roast with potatoes and carrots. So what I decided to do is some beef and noodles. It is so good, and it's perfect for picky eaters because all it is beef and noodles. And it's so seasoned up with a delicious flavor. I want y'all to look at this. I've already cooked my roast, and what I did, y'all, I cut it up in big chunks. I cut it down the middle in half, and then I did 1, 2, 3, and cut it in 6 chunks. I seared it up a little bit. I'll tell y'all in a minute about how I seasoned it and all that, but let's get all this going, and then we'll talk about that. But let me get this off of here, and I will show it to y'all. Look down in there. Does that not look good? Now, I don't like all this color around the pan. Y'all know that. I don't like that. I was kind of in a hurry, so I started it on 400. And I thought, I'll just get it going real good, cook it on 400 for about 30 minutes. Well, of course, I got busy, and so it cooked on 400 a little bit longer, but that's what mostly caused that dark color around the pan. It is fine. It's not burnt in no way. I turned it down and let it finish the slow cooking, but you would typically want to cook this on about 350 or maybe even 300 if you just want to slowly cook it. That's really the best way. And it's also great for the crock pot. This is an easy dish. You throw it in the crock pot, you get home, you cook your pasta, your side dish, and dinner is done. So, see, I just hit my elbow on that. That's why I always have bruises, and I never know where I get them, because I just hit and beat and bang everything. I'm so hard on myself. Okay, y'all. Over here, I have some water. It's coming up to a boil, as you can see, and I put 2 beef bouillon cubes in here, okay? So we're going to use these, just these dough yolk egg noodles. Now you can use a different, hang on a minute. You can use a different pasta if you want to. But I really recommend the egg noodles. I feel like that's what's best with this, but if you have another favorite, and of course you can do that. And we're only going to cook these for just a few minutes. You know, it does not take egg noodles long at all to cook. And besides that, I want them to be able to soak up some of this good flavor once we mix all this in here in this good liquid, okay? So let's see, what time is it? All right, so I'll see how long we cook them. And come back up to a boil. And then for this, y'all, I'm just going to get these pieces out. And I mean, they're just literally falling apart. Hang on. Don't want y'all to miss this good part. I'm just going to get these out and put them on the plate here. I have me some little green peas back here to go with it. Of course, you can do whatever you want with it. Or it'd be good just by itself. You wouldn't even have to do nothing. So I'm just going to get all these out, and I'm going to just, pull it apart, get that little bit of fat out of there. I'll skim around in here. I got some bay leaves in here I've got to get out. I put 2 of those in. And I tell you what I think I'm going to do, since this looks so ugly, I can't stand it. Y'all know I can't stand it. I'm not even going to try to clean this off. What I think I'm going to do is pour this liquid over into my other pot and just get a clean pot for it. I know that sounds terrible. And then I'll just leave it in that pot overnight and probably just stick it in the fridge in that, since it's going to be a clean pot. But you can see here we have this good liquid, and it's thick a little bit. We're not going to have to add anything to it. If yours is too thin, of course you can add a cornstarch slurry and thicken it up just a little bit. But I'm not going to add anything. I think it's perfectly fine. just like that. And so y'all look at this, this roast here, how tender it is. I mean, it just pulls, I mean, it's just all falling apart. You see that? And that's how you want it to be, just pulling apart. Let me get a bite of it. It is delicious. Alright, like I said, I'll let y'all know how I cooked it. Let's get this going first. Let's see about our egg noodles. Alright, they've been cooking 2 minutes. I think I'm going to cook them for about 4 minutes. And then I'm going to drain them. And I like to run cold water over them, of course. And then I will season them up a little bit. I'll come back and show y'all that part after I get them drained. So what I'm going to be doing is just pulling this apart. I'm going to drain those. I got some butter back here that I'm going to add into the noodles. I'm going to kind of butter them up and season them. And pull this apart. I'm going to get this poured in another pot because I don't like the look of this. And I'll be back, y'all. Alright, y'all, I got our meat pulled apart, and you can see here, this is all the fat that I pulled off of it. That was a good chuck roast. Because, you know, they're typically a little fattier roast, but here it is, and I left it in, you know, pretty big chunks because, you know, we're going to mix it and everything. So that way you'll have some pieces instead of just shreds, you know what I mean? And then I poured that, I skimmed through that liquid and got the little pieces of fat and stuff out of it. And I poured it in my other pot over here, clean pot. And now I'm just going to put this back in here. Now this meat is delicious. I can't wait to tell y'all here in a minute how I did it. I'm not trying to push y'all off or anything. I'm just trying to get this going, and then that way we can talk about it. I think I'm going to run a little bit of water over this. Y'all know I don't like to lose no flavor. Hang on a second. I'll be right back. All right, y'all. Here is our good stuff right here. I'm just going to keep this, put it on a low temperature just to let it warm back up a little bit because I let it cool so I could pull it apart. And here's our pasta. I cooked it for about 4 minutes, like I said, and then I drained it and quickly ran some cold water over it. And I know you're probably thinking, well, why would you do that and then you're going to cook it a little bit more? That's because I don't want it to just be sitting there slowly cooking since they're hot. That's what's going to give you a mushy pasta, okay? So I want it to be where whenever I mix this pasta in with this, then it still has a little bit of cooking time and it's going to absorb all those good flavors, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to season it up a little bit, and y'all, I remembered I still had this, and I've already put about 3 tablespoons of butter in here, okay? I remembered that I still had some of this left. Y'all remember I've been working on this little container for a minute. I'm going to put the rest of it in there. I thought, well, that'll add some good flavor. It's just a garlic and herb. So I'm going to add that in. And of course, you don't have to have this, just regular butter. And I'm going to put that in and mix that up. I would have just, instead of pouring all that in that pot, I would have just done it in here, but I didn't think it would be big enough. I didn't want it to all be squeezed in there. Alright, so I'm going to turn these noodles on just a low. Well, that's melting anyway, so I think it'll be okay. Now we're going to just season them up just a little bit, y'all. Y'all know how I like to do that. I'm going to do a little bit of garlic. And I mean just lightly season them. I mean a little bit of onion powder. Some parsley. And just a tiny bit of garlic salt. This is the only salt that I've added in this whole dish. I'll tell y'all about that in just a second. Once I get this done, we're going to go over that roast. Alright, so that's our noodles. I'm just going to leave them just like that. They're just kind of buttered up. Got a little flavor on them. Alright, so for our roast, y'all, what I did was, like I said, I cut it in 6 pieces, seasoned it up. I just used my usual, like my garlic powder, onion powder, some of the Kinders, some pepper. The only thing is, you want to watch about you can use any seasoning you want, but just don't use a bunch of seasonings that has salt in it. I used one season, the Kinders, that had some salt in it. And then I didn't add any more seasonings with salt or add any salt, because you've got, our other stuff we're going to put in there, which I'm fixing to tell you. But so just season it up however you want, and then I put it in the skillet, or in the little Dutch oven there, 3 pieces at a time. Kind of seared them up just a little bit, just turn them on each side. Of course, that's optional. If you don't want to do that and just toss it in the crock pot, that'd be fine. But I seared them up just a little bit, and then after I got all that done, I tossed in about half of a big onion. I had it already sliced in the fridge, so I tossed that onion in, and then I did, let's see, I drizzled in some W sauce, and then I added in about a big spoonful of garlic. Let that cook around for just a second. And then I added in, let's see, 2 cups of beef broth, all right? And if you can get the low sodium, that would be better. So 2 cups of beef broth, and then I sprinkled in some thyme, just regular thyme. I left it out here so I could show y'all. If you got fresh, that'd be great. But just some thyme leaves. This gives it a great, great flavor. So just sprinkle some over, and then I added in 1 au jus packet. Y'all know the au jus packet. One of those, and that's another reason why I say don't put no salt. And then I did 1 packet of my favorite Italian seasoning. This right here. Y'all know how that little combination is where they do the au jus and the ranch and all that? Well, instead of that, I did au jus and Italian. The whole pack of the au jus. And then I did 2 bay leaves, sprinkled some pepper in, and about half a stick of butter. Okay? I know y'all probably thinking, Lord have mercy, I'll never remember this. But just remember, save this video so you can go back and watch it. And all you'll have to do is fast forward to this part right here where you can just watch the seasoning. So like I said, I seasoned, seared, added in onions, W sauce, 2 cups of beef broth, some thyme, some garlic, au jus, Italian packet, pepper, butter, and the bay leaves, 2 bay leaves if you got them. And that's it, y'all. And I'll tell you what, this is so flavorful and so good. You'll love it. And that's what I'm saying. It's so easy. You just put all that in there. It didn't take me no time to do all that. Throw it in your crock pot. If you don't want to worry about the searing, don't worry about the searing. Just go ahead and just season them up a little bit anyway. But if you have time, of course the searing does, I feel like, makes it a little bit better. But I understand those busy days. And then whenever you get home, you just have to cook your noodles and a vegetable, and dinner will be done. And this roast is delicious. You don't even have to do it with noodles. You can make this, of course, and serve it over mashed potatoes, or just have it and then have your side dishes. You can do it however you want, but the flavor is so good. That's the first time I've ever actually done that specific combo, and I love it. So now I have me a new recipe. That's how it works. That's what I do. I just do stuff, and then before I know it, I got a new recipe. So anyway, I'm just kind of trying to let both of these get back warm before I kind of mix them together. And you can serve this separately. I've been kind of debating, do I want to serve it separately, or do I want to mix the noodles in? Because y'all know I love to take the leftovers and make something else. So I definitely want to make something else with the leftovers. It's kind of like a challenge to me, thinking what can I come up with this and it be unique and different and be good. I hadn't done that in a while with any leftovers. I definitely want to with this. I've already been thinking about it, so it'll be on my mind. I don't know that I'll do it tomorrow. You know, tomorrow's Kanan's birthday. I've been kind of trying to think, should I cook? Should I get on here and hang out with y'all and cook? You know, that's what I always did. We always did that for the boys' birthday. I would cook their choice, which Braden's was always and still is the same: pork chops, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, green beans. Y'all could have guessed. Y'all know that already. But now Kanan would change his up a little bit. Like, he loved meat. He was he had a much more bigger appetite for different foods. He loved meatloaf, which we just had them meatloaf balls the other day. He loved that pizza casserole. He loved chicken rotel, which a lot of people call that chicken spaghetti. We always called it chicken rotel. But the pizza casserole, the chicken rotel, I would say were his top two. Like, most of the time, those two would be what he would pick. And of course, Braden didn't like either one of them. He will eat some of it now a little bit, but back then he didn't like either one of them. I'm telling y'all, I had to cook 2 meals about every night. But anyway, and then of course Kanan loved all the grilled pork chops and all of that too. But if he had to pick, it would most of the time be one of those. And he loved chili. He loved spaghetti. I mean, he loved everything. So I don't know if I'm not decided if I should cook and do like what I would normally do. I don't know, y'all. You know, it's hard. It doesn't come with a handbook, just like parenting doesn't come with a handbook, and then grieving a child certainly does not. And so you have to just do what you feel like you need to do to get through it. You know, I mean, it's been a hard week leading up to this, and usually that's how I am. It always bothers me. It seems like worse, like days leading up to it, because I'm thinking about it so much, and then it's like by the time the day gets there, I'm a little bit better because I've grieved that whole time before that, if that makes sense. That's the way I do, like with like holidays and like his date of death and stuff like that. Like, it consumes me beforehand. And like this last week or whatever, it's like I can tell how it's affected me, because it's like I wake up in the mornings and I don't want to get up. I just want to go back to sleep. And when I do that, I know that, you know, I'm just feeling depressed. And so it's like I just try to go back to sleep because I just don't want to get up and deal with the day yet. So I did get up earlier this morning. But, I mean, when I'm like that, it's nothing for me to just wake up and go back to sleep and sleep till 11 o'clock or so. And then even when I wake up, it's like I still don't even want to get up, but I make myself. So it's hard. You just don't ever know what to do, y'all. Anyway, I didn't mean to turn this into this type of situation where I got to talking about it, but we'll see. Y'all let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think I should cook? We should get on here and cook tomorrow, or what? And then I'll use these leftovers and do something different with them the next day, because I'd never serve him nothing like leftovers like this for his birthday, so I wouldn't dare even cook that on his birthday. So anyway, this is all just heating up, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just mix it all together. I think it will look really pretty, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So this has still got to heat up a little bit more. I had it on a low temperature, so I'll come back and we'll get this all mixed up. Let me taste one of my noodles. You can just eat them by themselves, y'all, whenever you season them up like that. They're so good. And that butter, I can taste that garlic butter on there. That's good. I'm having me a peach White Claw tonight. These are really refreshing to me. I love them. So that's what I'm having. I mean, I won't have it while I eat. I gotta have my water whenever I eat. But I'm having it while I've been cooking. Anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, y'all, I have decided to serve it up separately. I've been so back and forth with it. But I want y'all look at this pasta. I've been munching on it, of course, but it has like that texture of like a fried pasta. You know how they'll like kind of fry it up a little bit in a skillet? Oh, it is so good. This would be delicious with like to add some cheese to it to make macaroni and cheese with all that extra seasoning in there. Goodness. But anyway, I thought, well, if I just leave it separate, then that gives me so many more options as to what I can make, like with the beef or whatever. Because if you've got all them noodles in there, that kind of changes things up a little bit. So I decided to do separate. I'm just going to lay some meat over the top. I have to get me a spoon and get some gravy. Let me get a spoon. But of course now, if I was feeding like a family or whatever, I would probably just go ahead and mix it all up. Yeah, that's just my take on it. But since like I said, I know I'm gonna have all these leftovers, it makes me want to not do that and wait and do something else with it. So you do it however you want to do. And I'm gonna mix this up, and I'm gonna put me some of my green peas on here. My little green peas are pitiful, y'all. I put them on way too soon, and they've about cooked to death back here. But they'll be good. I like them kind of mushy anyway. I don't like many things mushy, but my little green peas, I do. And all I do with them, y'all, is I just drain them, and then I rinse them really good. You know, anytime I cook something like that, I rinse all that liquid out. And, well, shoot. I rinse all that out and rinse them. And then I use my own liquid, which I just did a little bit of water and a little bit of butter. And then a little bit of salt and pepper. There ain't much you gotta do to them little things. Well, that's good. Okay. What y'all think? Don't that look good? Alright, so I'm going to try to scoot this over just a little bit. But y'all, I'll tell you, I almost got a different, my other little bow that I like to, bow plate thing that I like to use so much. I almost got that, but this little dish right here that I've got has helped me so much with like my portion controls, because I've really been trying to work on that. And so what I do, of course you can always go back and get seconds or whatever, but it's easier to not go back and get seconds than it is to not load up a big plate full the first time. So that's kind of been my little deal that I've been doing, and it's helped me lose that weight that I had gained, and just kind of get more back to my normal weight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's like I'll just fill this little thing up, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not having no more, and it has really worked for me. I've done really, really well with that regimen. All right, y'all, let's taste these. Y'all tell me if you have a way to discipline yourself. It's hard, isn't it? Especially when you're stuck in the house in this cold weather. Goodness. Delicious. But y'all know I love pasta, and this roast is so good. You could eat this roast on a piece of bread. And it would be good. I want y'all to try it. Just remember now, I really recommend use a low sodium beef broth. Or when you season up your roast in the beginning, don't use anything that has any salt in it. Because, like I said, you use that au jus packet, and then you got your beef broth and all of that, you're going to end up with a salty roast. Do low sodium broth And then be very careful about what you season it with. You can always go back and add salt. You can't take it out. So, I love that, y'all. And like I said, it's so good for picky eaters because it's just beef and noodles. Even though I did put some onions in there, they just cooked away. You don't even see them, which it was just about half of an onion, so it just put that flavor in there, and now they're gone. I don't even see a little piece of nothing. I'm trying these little peas that I've done cooked to mush. They're still good. I love these little sweet peas. You know, I would never cook them much because Braden didn't like, he always wanted green beans. So I get to cook a little different stuff for myself now. Alright, y'all. I've kept y'all on here long enough. I know I've been yakking a lot tonight. It's just a hard time, and y'all keep me company so much. It's kind of a way for me to get away from my mind for a little bit. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all helped me so much. You had so many kind comments last night on my video, or the night before, and I hadn't had time to respond to them. I really wasn't on my phone that much, but I will. Y'all know I always get back around to it, or just know that I do see them. It's easier to scroll down through there and read them than it is to stop and, you know, respond to everyone. So even if I don't respond, that does not mean that I do not see it. And if it's a question, I do try to answer. But I do appreciate all of you that help me so much. Just your kind and encouragement that you give me, your kindness and encouragement that y'all give me. y'all are great. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy my little bow here because you know I'm not gonna do seconds. So anyway, I will see what we're gonna do about Kanan's birthday, and y'all let me know kind of what you think, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.